There are moments when you wish you'd just stayed silent. One careless remark, a knee-jerk reaction, and the fallout isn't just awkwardness. Sometimes it costs you trust, relationships, even opportunities. In today's world, where everyone's racing to be heard, intentional silence is a rare kind of power. But knowing when to hold your tongue and making your words count takes more than willpower. It takes self-mastery. That's why Stoic philosophy has endured for thousands of years. It's not an escape route for the weak. It's a compass for those who want to stay grounded in chaos, live with discipline, strength, and depth. Stoicism teaches you to manage your emotions, focus on what you can control, and most importantly, to know when to speak and when to stay quiet. If you've ever felt like your words betrayed you, this video is for you. Watch till the end, and you'll walk away with 7 tools to make your words an asset, not a burden. Number 1. Listen more, speak less. Have you ever been in a conversation where the other person cut you off with, "Oh yeah, I know that already," or shared something important only to be met with a distracted chuckle before they turned the spotlight back on themselves? In today's world, it seems speaking is far easier than listening. Scroll through social media and you'll see millions shouting, "Listen to me," yet few are willing to truly be silent and hear someone else. In Stoicism, listening isn't passive. It's a sign of strength, of a mind that can resist the urge to perform, choosing instead the right moment to act. Like a seasoned swordsman, they don't swing wildly. They wait, they watch, and they move only when it counts. The wise don't use words to fill silence. They use silence to understand others more deeply. I want to share a story because it shows how someone's quiet presence can shift everything without saying a word. Dave is a rideshare driver in Manhattan. He's quiet, not big on small talk. One day, a woman gets into his car, exhausted, eyes red. For the next 40 minutes, Dave says nothing but "good morning." He gently places a water bottle in the front cup holder, turns off the radio, and glances in the rearview mirror now and then, as if to make sure she's okay. When they arrive, she steps out and leaves behind a hastily folded note. "I just lost my father. Thank you for letting me sit in silence. This ride was the kindest thing I've experienced all week." Dave didn't say a word, but somehow he said exactly what needed to be said. "I'm here, and I understand." Listening isn't just sitting quietly while someone talks. It's an active choice, like asking a thoughtful follow-up, "Do you mean?" or letting someone's silence be, instead of rushing to fill it with empty chatter. Good listeners don't jump in with advice. They don't pretend to understand. They ask. They don't rush to conclusions. They wait. In meetings, they're the quietest, but have the clearest grasp of the room. In relationships, they're the ones everyone turns to when it really matters. A great salesperson doesn't just pitch, they ask the right questions. A great doctor doesn't just prescribe, they hear the fear behind the symptoms. And a great friend isn't the one with all the answers. It's the one who can sit beside you in silence and make you feel less alone. Here's a simple way to train your listening. For the next week, in every conversation, count how many questions you ask versus how many opinions you give. If you're asking twice as often as you're speaking, you're on the right path. Try letting the other person speak 70% of the time. The more you listen, the more you'll realize people don't need to be fixed. They need to feel understood. And here's something to be ready for. The better you get at listening, the less you'll need to talk. Because once you understand clearly, There's no need to guess. Once you see the big picture, you stop fighting over the small parts. The most influential people rarely say much. They just say what matters. What's surprising is that in those moments when you're truly listening to someone else, you start to understand yourself. You notice your own impatience, the urge to interrupt, the mental script waiting for your turn to say, "Let me tell you my story." Becoming aware of that, that's a sign of real growth. You no longer need to win the conversation, you just want to connect. Epictetus once reminded us, "Nature gave us one tongue and two ears, so we could hear twice as much as we speak." Nature doesn't make mistakes. That ratio is a lesson. The question is, are you living in reverse? Because when you begin to tame your words through listening, you'll find the real challenge isn't your mouth, it's your mind. Often, what causes you to say the wrong thing isn't ignorance, it's emotion rising too fast. So, how do you control the storm within? What if emotion is the silent manipulator in every conversation you've ever had? Number 2, control your emotions. There's a truth many people only realize after cracks appear in their relationships. Words are never entirely harmless. They're like arrows. Once released, you can't take them back. And the saddest part? Most of these arrows are fired not by reason, but by emotion. We get angry, hurt, scared, and we speak. Sometimes, just a few seconds of lost control can ruin something beautiful we spent years building. That's why learning to manage your emotions before you speak isn't a luxury, it's a survival skill. Stoicism doesn't ask you to stay silent forever. It simply asks you to stay conscious before you speak. It teaches that true freedom isn't the ability to say whatever you want, but the strength to hold back when you should. And that only happens when you're in control of your emotions. Have you ever been so angry that you wanted to shout, insult someone, only to regret every word just minutes later? Or let a secret slip just to prove a point, only to lose someone's trust for good? These moments aren't rare. They happen every day, at home, at work, even in anonymous comments on social media. Let me tell you a story, and you should listen because it shows just how much emotion can take over your words and your life. John, a man from Chicago, was a long-time manager at a tech company. His co-workers admired his calm nature. But one day, in a tense meeting, his boss harshly criticized him in front of everyone. John snapped. He interrupted, raised his voice, and accused his boss of being unfair, said the team didn't respect him. The room fell silent. That same afternoon, John was removed from his managerial role. The irony? John wasn't wrong in how he felt, but he lost because of how he reacted. If he had just taken 3 seconds to breathe, everything might have turned out differently. A deep breath can be the wall between a wise response and a reckless reaction. And that's the shift Stoicism wants us to practice every day. Don't speak when you're angry. Don't explain when you're hurt. Don't respond when your mind is still storming. Modern neuroscience backs up what the Stoics understood thousands of years ago. When emotions run high, the amygdala in your brain takes over, overpowering the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning. In other words, when you're angry, you're literally less intelligent. Your brain is temporarily hijacked, and everything you say in that moment doesn't come from the real you. It comes from your emotions. Are you okay with being the spokesperson for your anger? The strange thing is, emotional control doesn't mean suppression. It's actually the art of transformation. One of the most effective techniques is this. Label your emotions with precision. Don't just say, "I'm mad." Tell yourself, "I feel disrespected," or "I feel powerless." Naming your emotion activates your rational brain, giving you just enough space to detach from the emotional wave. Another technique comes from behavioral psychology. If you feel like exploding, sit down and write out what you want to say, but don't send it. Write by hand. It forces your brain to shift from emotional reaction to structured language. Often, within minutes, you'll no longer want to say those things at all. Abraham Lincoln used to do this. Whenever he was angry at someone, he'd write a scathing letter, then put it in a drawer, never to be sent.
Thank you for accompanying me on this exploration. If you found this content rewarding, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I've included 2 additional videos here that might capture your interest. Until next time, may your path be filled with positivity and growth. See you soon.